Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn and welcome to the Photographer Academy, and today, as you can see from the slide, we're looking at steps on booking a model for a boudoir shoot, things ready. We're doing a series on kind of getting started with boudoir, and basically one of the most difficult things I think getting going is a confidence building. And so for many photographers, they might have been shooting for many years, but basically moving into the world of boudoir or even kind of fashion beauty at some stage can be a little bit of a kind of a mental issue, whether you're a male photographer or a female photographer, and it's a bit of a confidence builder. So this session is not really about booking a workshop, it's about booking a model. Obviously that's the title of the slide. And again, if you are going to go on a workshop though, basically the headache is taken out of it for you. So in other words, when I run workshops here, I've usually got to have at least 2 models, at least one professional model and others. Even with a small group of 5 other photographers kind of here on a workshop or 10, I've basically got to have 1 professional model for each 5 photographers as a rule of thumb. So when we're looking to book our own model, we're taking on all the kind of the workload leading up to the actual event itself and things really. And that's why it's not just the teacher that you'll be kind of paying money towards, but it's all the kind of the back end, kind of getting the models together and styling it and so on. And I just want this to be a little bit of a step-by-step so you can be encouraged to pretty much go ahead and actually get going straight away. So whether you're just going to get starting with boudoir photography, or you're shifting from one genre to another, or of course you're looking to create a small business for yourself as well. So the first thing that we should really look at is the 3 basic steps on what we should do to actually find a model in the beginning. I would always recommend to you that the first thing that you do is do a shout out on your social media. I think this is where, to some extent, Facebook works better than Instagram. Instagram still tends to be a little bit of kind of show and tell, as it were. And Facebook, we've got a little bit more kind of direct marketing with messaging, share with friends, etc. So a shout out on social channels would be a definite first start. The next one would be to look on very specific model sites. We use one from time to time called Purple Port. But as far as the model sites are concerned, there's some good ones, some bad ones, and just because there's a model on the actual website doesn't mean they're reliable or good, and obviously that will show in their kind of reviews, and you should make sure that you're looking at those reviews before you're actually getting a model kind of coming through. And then of course another thing would be past clients or friends. The first thing about friends and boudoir photography, it's very, very an awkward situation unless they're past girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever it would be, for you to kind of start to work in boudoir, and even then it might be too difficult for you to address and things really. But again, one of the first kind of almost boudoir shoots I did at the age of 16 was of my sister. And she's 4 years older than me and things really, and she's kind of a bit glamorous and blah blah blah, but even she did a few posing shots, but it wasn't in lingerie then, it was in swimwear and everything else with it and things. And again, it's amazing that it's there, you know, our video guy, he's in love now. And so, you know, if he was getting going into it, a natural way would be to ask your partner to see if you could actually just do it. Now, my wife to this day has refused to actually do a boudoir shoot, okay? So don't think that everybody on the planet is going to say yes to you. I'm almost there. After all these years of shooting other women, she still says no to me, but what's new there in life, eh? But past clients and friends are a good way to actually do it. The easiest way is to go for a professional model. Try and work with one that is pretty much close to you to make sure that there's not huge travel costs and putting them up in accommodation and involved and so on. And probably if you're getting going, even the likes of a whole day might be too long for you to immerse yourself. On the other hand, if you know you're going to be serious about boudoir photography, you really, really do need to actually practice more than shoot. And so practice and shoot, I mean, in these first few kind of getting going, as it were. I reckon it takes at least about 50 shoots to find a comfort. I mean 50 client shoots. A model basically is going to bring something to the party anyway. She's going to bring a pose in, a great look, and so on. And obviously there's all different sizes and shapes and ages of models as well. And you're going to want to actually add quite a few of those to your portfolio as well. So probably you're looking at about 3 models, I would say, to actually kind of build up your confidence a little bit and to build up your flow. Once you're there and once you've kind of decided on how you're going to get those models, then we need to actually take it to the next level, and we need to enter into the discussion, because there's going to be money involved here. Let's not forget that. Unless it's a model who's just getting going and they're looking for time for prints, so in other words, time for images, which very, very few models will want on a kind of a professional site. When they're a local model and they're just getting going and so on with it, then basically they're looking for images. And even people, if you kind of know a dancer or an actor, they'll pretty much actually stand in at the early days for you to actually have a bit of a go kind of thing with it. But there's several things that we've got to do when we're contacting that model or person who's going to kind of sit in front of your camera for you. So we need to kind of talk about the outline of the shoot and the outline of the day, so we're not confusing them in any way at all with it. So when we get into the kind of the nitty-gritty, we need to know what fee is involved. We'll talk about that now in a second. But they're going to have fees and you're going to have your budgets, and somewhere between them you've got to kind of really kind of play them off each other. In other words, what do I mean? If you're just getting going, you don't need a top-end model. You basically need somebody who's going to help you, assist you, and those will kind of show you in the reviews. And there's some really, really great models out there, I promise you, kind of thing. So don't be afraid of them. But when you start to actually up your game more, so if you're already a pro boudoir, lingerie, nude, whatever kind of type of photography that you shoot, and you want to up your game, basically your model styling or your model choice is going to be changed as well with it and things really. I know that's something that we're continually asked for in our workshops as well, is a certain type of model and things. What fees, as I said, you're going to come to a basic agreement, but you should outline what your budget is straight from word go. You should also outline your ideas for the times of the shoot, including any specific dates that you might want. If you're kind of looking at the next few weeks, you've got to actually put that out there now. Otherwise, you could be kind of strung along because they're realizing that there's not a quick kind of fix or a quick shoot or whatever it would be. Images or no images. So in the same discussion, especially as you're getting going, okay, images is not really going to be important to them unless they don't really have any images. And then a small fee and images combined is a very, very powerful tool. Whereas most professional models, they only want the money and things. They'd love a few of the photographs, and often as photographers we kind of thank them for doing an excellent job on the day by including images as well with it. I know we do with pretty much all my models, but that doesn't have to be in the agreement at all with it and things. Then we kind of have to kind of look at what styles really is the thing that we need to concentrate on today. I've headed over to Purple Port, and I've gone to their kind of booking page or shoot styles and page really, so you can get an idea on the different terminology. You don't have to kind of look far, but I've kind of sectioned them out. There's loads and loads on the Purple Port kind of styling of actually what types and what they all mean and so on. But let's take a little look. So the first one would be lingerie, pants and bras, stockings, suspenders, corsets, etc. And that would be more for the artful or the kind of the glamorous kind of look. But it's lingerie straight from the day one that we are looking for, because this is a boudoir shoot, yes? So basically that is what you need to make sure, that you are choosing a model that does lingerie in their shoot styles. If you're not doing your model search including that, you're going to basically end up perhaps with models who do portraiture and they're just going to be ignoring you and everything else with it and things really. The next one would be sheer. So this is shooting in anything sheer or semi-transparent. Ideally, you'll be okay shooting nude or topless. That's not quite true, okay? So if you're looking for sheer, it just means basically the bra, the tops, the netting, the material is technically see-through, and basically the model knows that because you said it's sheer. We would usually say implied topless alongside that, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be okay to shoot nude by any means at all. And I think that's where one of the things they've actually got wrong here, in fact, because sheer doesn't mean nude or topless in any way. But as long as you're kind of going through the discussion with the model, these same terminologies, when you get to end up shooting with clients, you know what it all means, and so you can explain it a lot easier to the client and things. The next one is topless. Typically this will mean with nipples showing. It's best to confirm before agreeing to a shoot. So yeah, topless goes without saying. It basically means the boobs are out, the nipples are basically visible in one way or another. Sheer and topless, two different things. Topless obviously means basically visible by the naked eye, as it were. Whereas implied means the boob and the nipple specifically is being hidden, and sheer would be the sheer is kind of covering, but obviously it's see-through, so kind of make sure you're getting the right. But most models know it. But if you're trying to work with local models, then at least the terminology, we all speak the same language really, that will help you and them, of course. The next is nude. Obviously, this can be anything from full nude to partial or concealed. If you only shoot implied nude, that is, you are in fact wearing clothes but you look nude, then don't choose this option. So this is the shoot styles for a model, and it's also ideas for a photographer that they know what they're selecting on when they're clicking on in the search boxes and things really. So with the implied, with the invention of the thong, or as I often refer to it as the thing, basically it'll make an image look amazing and almost implied nude in the way that you can kind of shape the body, shape the shadow as well with it. It can be a bit frustrating at times, and a model that works with you time and time and time again, and I have a real kind of collection of fantastic models that I'm lucky to work with time and time again. With a few of them, they actually don't shoot nude with anybody else, but to make it easier in the shoot for us, because they know how much implied nude we do, as long as we're not filming it, then basically they're okay with that. When we're teaching with the academy, of course, we need to make sure that it's applicable to both the model I book and to obviously what is right on the site and things. So remember, nude is kind of, if you're doing that, it doesn't mean creative or wacky or pornographic or anything else with it, all right? It just means that you're looking at figure and form without any clothing on. Next, in fact, is glamour. Glamour, posing suggestively, hopefully in glamorous surroundings, can be nude, topless lingerie and clothed. Best to confirm what is expected beforehand. So again, the world of glamour can mean so many things to different people. You know, glamorous is more kind of Hollywood kind of element, where glamour, going back to the 1970s, UK would be kind of a lot more suggestive, and that's what this is really referring to. So I would prefer to use the word suggestive within the kind of the communication between myself and the model, and they'll pretty much know what that means anyway. And then last but no means least in the kind of the choices I've made for you is erotic, posing suggestively, not necessarily explicit, but quite likely, again, confirm what is required. It might mean different camera angles. You're looking straight at genitalia or bottom, or kind of a little bit more kind of sensual, or a lot more essential with it and things really. So again, I'm sure we have all our own kind of terminology and things. We recently were looking at the definition of erotic in photography and kind of seeing how it all kind of plays out through the world of photography. And boy, we saw some extremes from one thing to another. But hey ho, you know, that is a list there of 6 things that you should really kind of bring into your vocabulary. As I said, you can find more of this actually featured on Purple Port and things really, which I'm a member of. So we talked about the styles. The next thing will be, once we've kind of agreed, we agree on the styles, we agree on the lingerie, what they've got. We don't want them to spend any real money. We have some studio kind of wardrobe here as well, which includes some lingerie from time to time for specific shoots. We do buy in some stuff as well. And then we need to make sure that before we're booking the model, they're comfortable doing their own makeup, or we're going to be telling them that they're actually doing their makeup as well, or we're going to bring in a makeup artist. Confirm the dates and the times, and make sure you're confirming the levels. That's what we just discussed now. Oh, wrong button. So as far as in the fees agreed is concerned, I touched on it. What is their day rate? Yes. And is that negotiable, or is that the flat fee? What is their half-day rate? And the reason I'm not saying per hour, because I think an hour is a waste of time for you, because I would much prefer you to do the same thing for 3 hours, and every half an hour you do a bit of a rest, and then you start again and do exactly the same thing. That's how you practice your flow and your pose, and you'll learn as you're going along and things really. And if possible, I should say as well, even if you're training yourself, I would ask if using video as a camera, just a wide, is possible during the shoot. Some models say yes, some models say no. They obviously say yes to us because we need them for kind of doing what we do. But you just might want to actually do it to get an idea of where you were and what you were and how you posed them and so on with it. And it kind of gives you a good time stamp as well with it. But don't be too put off if some models say no to it. They're always worried, of course, what you guys are going to be doing with those kind of videos and things really. So just explain it through. Even CCTV, in fact, we have CCTV in Studio 1 and 2, and that the first thing that the model is told about that, and it's basically it's just here to actually be used for their comfort and mine, and then obviously it's deleted after a certain time and things really. So then you're going to get to a time at some stage. So in other words, if you're not now in the beginner mode, but you're more at the advanced kind of mode, you are pretty much going to have your rates and how much your budgets are, and you'll be able to actually speak to them about what it is and things really. So your rate and how much you're able to pay, never be afraid to actually tell it to them, and so on with it. And then you've got to also agree whether travel is going to be included within the fee or it's an extra. You need to make sure that is double clicked, as it were. So then when we've got the agreed dates and times and things really, we need to confirm the fees, get an email address from them, get a number from them. In the same way, give them our number and our details as well. Obviously, this would be the confirmed shoot location, so they know exactly what is involved and where they're going to be traveling to. And if I went back a slide, I'd always recommend that when you're talking about the fees and times, that you're telling them where the shoot is going to be as well. So remember to get their number. I would suggest that a booking without an email and a mobile number is not a booking, because usually that's where things are going to be falling down. And again, what we want to be doing is get in touch with them as a bit of a reminder a week before, both on email and in text. But then we also want to be reminding them on the day, which we'll get to in a minute. When we're leading up to the shoot, then we're usually booking our models about 6 weeks ahead as a rule, if not more. But we're discussing what clothing they've already have, what lingerie they have. If I need to, I'll create a Pinterest board and invite them to it specific for them, to give them ideas on what kind of specific ideas that I have of what we're going to be doing during the course of the day. We usually actually give them a schedule of shooting as well. You probably won't need to do that, but basically we give them an outline of the day for our forget what it is now, Brandon, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 3:00, 4:00, 5:00 is our schedule. That's pretty good for an old bloke to remember that shooting, isn't it? You know, but they know exactly and what topics they're going to be and things really. And then we need to create a gallery if need be, or some kind of method for image sharing. That would be for them to show me what lingerie they have, or something kind of ideas. I usually encourage the model to bring something that they really love or something that is new for them, they're not being photographed in as well. That usually brings a little bit of excitement to the down part of the shoot, because we'll always have sections of the day that I'll go, you got anything new that you want shot in? Because it usually kind of just sparks them off with a quick change and me doing some more shots. So then, of course, on the day itself, I message the model first thing. I am one of those weirdos that's up at 5:30 or earlier. So I usually message them straight away, check everything's okay, travel, blah, blah, blah. Then when they arrive here, they obviously with current situations, even though they've been discussed our COVID protocols, now they actually have to go through the protocols when they arrive, and they agree to it in advance anyway. And then as far as they'll sign their model form, which is copyright release and usage release and so on with it, and their agreement for the amount, we'll take their payment details straight away, and they will be paid on that same day by bank transfer. You'll probably actually be paying them for cash or whatever it will be and things really. Start prompt, that's the key thing. So if you've agreed a 11:30 start, I'm expecting the model to be here by 11, pretty much gives us a quick 15-minute chat, coffee, tea, whatever it would be, and then pretty much I'm on set for 11:30 and model is ready to come on set straight away. It is slightly different for us because obviously we need to try and keep to time zones and everything else with it and things. In other words, I've got a lot to do for Academy during the course of the day, and I need to hit each target time that we have set. And then one of the main things is finish on time. You know, I cannot not just look at things from the photographer booking the model point of view, but I've got to also say that, you know what, you've agreed times and you've agreed all these things with these phenomenal people. You need to kind of really make sure that you are delivering. And if you are delayed, not the model, so if the model is delaying and you need to overrun on the day because that's their problem, then basically they'll know that as soon as they arrive on the day, and we'll have to continue on after our 5:00 shoot or whatever it would be. But if you're running late, you need to actually pay a recompense to that, and I fully would suggest that you offer it. Never mind being asked for it, you offer it and things really. So around about 4:00, if we were due to finish at 5:30, I pretty much know if I'm going to be on time. At that point, I would go, you came in by train, didn't you? What time's the next one? Okay, I'll pay you for another hour if that's okay with it. We'll just kind of make use. And just, I think that's a real good feel factor between the two of you, and the model appreciates it as well as you appreciate them, because if they're a great model, I want to work with them time and time again, because reliability is the key thing. And we build relationships with our models, and those are really to be treasured, and you need to make sure that you never forget that. So even though you work with them time and time again, they need to know that you've got their back, and they'll basically not ever let you down. That's what we do together and things really. Anyway, enough about me and what we do, but I just thought you'd like to get an insight, especially when you're getting going with boudoir photography, on step-by-step on kind of how to book a model, or how we kind of go about booking a model. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye-bye.